Morning, folks. Morning. Welcome to Ocean Yumi's channel. So, I'm going to actually do a review on Blue Story. Blue Story used to be a web series on YouTube, and now they've put it on Netflix. It talks about postcode wars in South East London, i.e., Peckham, Deptford, and other parts, but mostly Peckham and Lewisham. This Blue Story revolves around two characters who was friends in school and wasn't really part of the gang, and they end up, well, one of them, well, yeah, they both end up being part of a gang due to lots of tragic incidences. Let me pull up the picture so you can see what I'm talking about. So this story is to do with two school friends, basically, and they they have to choose sides as well. One brother, one of the character brother, he runs. I think he's the Peckham Boys. I think, and the other one is the opposite side. But they both go to the same school and everything, and something happens and it divides their friendship completely. And um, there's loads of tragedies. A girl loses her life. Um, Boys lose their lives as well, and yeah, it's very. It's sad. I think now when you're watching this as a parent of a boy, here's some things you can't believe because they're fighting over postcode. It's like a literal postcode war. Some seems like in this drama that how because a family is part of the gang or the leader, they have to become part of that mix, even if they don't want to be a part of it. It's like a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle, basically. So like I said, there is loads of stuff that happens in this program, and you know, I even felt myself getting emotional in parts of this movie because it's just so easy for their peers to run them. Basically, um, you see loads of violence. What is going on the Capitol right back now with the stabbing scenarios, the just a lot. Honestly, it's a lot. I don't think I can explain it all in one video. The lengths of what they have to do, even if they disagree with certain actions, they still fall under, what is going on with the gangs. They have to listen to certain things, what they are told to do. They haven't got a choice. Family as well. Like I said, one of them, family, he goes and he leads the gang and leads one of the gangs, and something happens and he ends up in a wheelchair, and he kind of demands that his brother his brother um, do what he's got to do. He has to do what he's got to do, no matter what. Now, any mother who's watching this who has a son, whatever your circumstances, because one of the parents works really hard. She works really hard. She hasn't got time to be at home to cook dinner and certain things. So the old one takes he sort of looks after the younger brother. They spend time watching videos or try to have a normalish life. But being he has a reputation to keep up, he has to go to do what he's got to do, you know, and it's a battle of principles and morals in some circumstances. There is also one where one of them falls in love and he's sitting waiting for the girl, and a tussle happens, and she dies in the process. That's one of the tragedies in one of an instant, an instant, instance, incident, instance, incidents. Can't even talk now. So the characters is very, yeah, they sort of turn against each other because they have to, because they're on opposite sides, and just like wow, it's a vicious cycle for these youngsters. Even if they're not part of what's going on, they can be going about their daily business. They can get bothered by the gangs or on buses, whatever. Unless one of them have a family, then once again it comes down to family. They get left alone, or there's one who tells them, who gives them the marching orders. So it's just a very sad story. This Blue story is very sad. I don't know. There's not a lot of words I can put into it really. You just feel it for the characters all the way from start to finish. Then you see the cycle starting all over again, and you're just like, wow. Um, it is a good watch, and I like that Netflix has taken this because there's no breaks in between. Whereas I think when it was on the YouTube, there was lots of breaks in between. But um, Blue Story, this is happening on the London streets, probably in Americas, wherever. It's worldwide. So you feel it for the characters, and I think I can. Me, oh, see, they was gonna ban it from the cinemas. A fight broke out at the cinema screening this virtual for new film about London's postcode wars. To ban it demonstrates exactly why people need to see it. Oh, so they was gonna ban it. I saw Blue Story on Saturday night in South London. The cinema was packed, mostly with young black teenagers. The atmosphere was lively. The first of its kind. The film tells of a tragically familiar story of two childhood friends who get caught up in gangs from rival postcodes at the war on the streets of London. We were very invested in the movie. It spoke to everyone in the room. They shared the anguish of the sense of impending tragedy whenever someone has asked that fatal question, where you from? As with abandon with the laugh in its lighter moments. Afterwards, my friend and I said how elated we were at this level of representation on the big screen. The character's school could have been the one I went to. The kids could have been my classmates. The male could be my younger brother and his friend. It was a powerful experience feeling a film landing with the audience that clearly wanted to see it. To see these stories go mainstream. Since it was last Friday, the film had been caught up in controversy after a mass brawl involving teenagers equated in Birmingham, with the footage showing the teenagers fighting inside of a cinema foyer. In response, the venue and the showcase cinemas with withdrawn the film. My first thought was when I heard this was I'm tired. The film never suggests that being in a gang is a good idea. It is a tragic depiction of loss of innocence and the trauma inflicted on communities. Blue's story is told with an energy and a clarity of spring from the personal experience of the director Andrew Onwabolu, aka Rapman. Banning it is at best an overreaction and at worst a dismissal of its core message. That's while it is incredibly easy for good kids to lose their way and fall into the needless eye for an eye circle of violence and realization and extremely hard to get out of. It doesn't have to be this way. Well, the police investigated it. Now, these are the characters also. The other, oh, can't see it. I'm talking and you're not seeing what I'm talking about. So these are the characters. Oops, it's low. These are the characters that also come inside as part of the movie, and the background obviously is Peckham, as you can tell. Let's see if I can find another one. Oh, it talks about the band and the internal racism. Not only that, it forms stereotypes as well, I will say. 'Cause not every boy child falls under these circumstances. They literally, there's some good children who's doing their work, going to school, doing what they're doing. But as it shows, they fall under certain circumstances. Oh, but it's a good movie. Oh, there is. Let me see if I can get this one. There's so many articles on this movie, it's unreal. So I think this might be linked to it.
Don't be silly.
It's the most scariest thing I've ever been in.
Oh, the police are coming back out. Yeah, come on. Beth.
Sorry, but they're gonna give us a refund and
Don't be silly. I'm not going to let anything happen to you.
Right, so True Blue story, ex-gangsters say you can't ban real life following violence outbreak over film. That has been blamed for sparking a mass brawl over around 100 young thugs armed with machetes and knives clash at a Birmingham cinema and complex screening the movie on Saturday night. But is it Blue Story, a film about young people fighting gang wars on London streets, really to blame for its outbreak? I don't think it is. I think it's the environment as well. It's the environment that was mimicking the movie. Oh, Errol. So this Errol was a former gang member, as they said. So let's hear what he said. He said, Errol tells The Sun online, I've seen the movie and I think it's given young people an excuse to vent their pain and trauma, similar to the 2011 London riots, which started after a guy was shot by the police. I didn't even hear about this one. So they were saying it was sparking drama when there was already problems on the streets anyway. The film was just showing people who doesn't know what goes on the streets, what is going on, apart from educating children. Let me see if I can find about Errol. Does it tell me about Errol? Can you mind, cat? Mine. Oh, it caused a lot of controversy. But they had a message behind the thing, behind the movie. There is clearly a message. Oh, it doesn't tell you about Errol. Might have to do a little thing on Errol. Do you mind? Stop it. Oh, here he is again. Stop. Let me see if I could pull up on Errol. Stop it. No, it doesn't have his full name. Well, basically, it shows someone's story as well. That's what I'm feeling from what I watched and what they're saying. So, when you get a chance to watch Blue Story on Netflix, please watch it. That's all I can say. Because when you're a parent, you need to know about certain things, because you can tell your child to go to school, you can tell your child to do whatever, to be an upstanding student, but the streets always call to them, no matter what walk of life you at, walk of life they're at, whether you're well off or whatever. There's a calling to some certain experiences. Not only that, if their family is already part of a gang, running a gang, or they're just part of it, they have to take sides, follow what's going on, and um, be a part of it, whether or not they agree with it or not. So, and it's not about single parentage or not, because even most of the boys or girls, because there is girl gangs as well, have two parents. So it's not about single parentage. We could talk about single parents till the cows come home. It makes no difference. The thing is that, and even though at one point they were saying that how it's all to do with estates and all that, most of the children that are part of gangs sometimes are in very nice homes. They live in very nice circumstances, and it's peer pressure as well. So all I can ask is just, just watch the movie, just be open minded. There are several of these type of movies on Netflix, i.e., I think Adulthood's on there as well. Top Boy is Top Boy is just a whole nother something else. You wanna cry, you just wanna go in the scream and hug the boys. This is every parent's nightmare. Okay, and they can get into arguments over the slightest thing, whether they owe money on the street, a girl. It's the littlest things, honestly. It's these stories on these programs are what's going on the streets. So sometimes it's best if you educate yourself to what is going on the streets. And if you can, there is ex gang members that is trying to get these boys to realize that that's not where it's at all. Okay, so when you see these youngsters on the road doing the most, because they do the most, because even the other day there was something going on involving, I think, bats and stuff in Croydon. Right, sometimes they be having issues. So even when you're walking with them, they're very aware of their surroundings. They can't go any place. They can't just go on a bus. They get rushed and all this. It's just a lot. Honestly, it's a lot. And even though during the lockdown, you would have think that all this would have stopped at least. No, there was more stabbings more than ever. There's so much violence on the street. So to me, I think this movie web series is a reality check, and the fact that it shows Peckham as well makes it even more realer, and the fact that it shows Bits Lewisham as well, and a young girl was involved, because young girls, they will get involved with the boys, and you know there'll be other things going on. So these movies are eye openers. It's like when you're watching Fresh and all that from back in the day. It's just, it just makes it more realer, you know. And like I said, you can be the most upstanding parent ever. Your child will somehow reach certain places where they're not supposed to reach. Some cases, not all cases, some cases they make it. And the ones who make it, because you know what's so funny? The media always shows what the boys are doing wrong. When they're doing good, we never hear good things on the media. That's why when I put up on my Facebook, when I see they are inventing stuff, they pass something, they're in bands, all sorts of different things, because those are the images people don't see or they don't care to acknowledge. Apart from all this so-called street life that is about the place, there's children that's actually doing good stuff, actually achieving something. Sometimes they're helping their own peers. The youngest one be cooking. They'll be trying to get to the next level to which they have to become, the greatness that they need to become. Because none of us um, give birth to thugs. We don't. We don't give birth to drug dealers. We don't give birth to whatever. Right? This is not their destiny. Though in their mind they think this is their destiny because they're in certain circumstances they cannot control. And I think this movie really highlights it a lot. Where one of the boys, he couldn't control nothing. He had to take on the baton from the brother and lead, and he ends up leading, and it ends up tragically, honestly. And you know, for the parents who's lost children because of these stabbings and everything else that is going on, my condolences to you, because there's nothing worse than losing your child going before you. You know, so though it is sometimes environment that has a part to do with it, financial, all that stuff comes down to it. But like I said, you can give your child the best and they still go outside there and do craziness unless you totally move them out of that situation. So I'm not going to give a speech because you know so not we are not here to judge nobody, because you could be the bestest parent ever in the world, but like I said, some make it and some don't. So yeah, that's basically what I want to say, really. So as I saw this, I have to talk about it. I mean, that video clip was an old video clip anyway, and they said they was gonna not show it in the cinema because it was causing so much drama in the cinema, and that's probably why they left it on the YouTube for a bit until Netflix got it. So yeah, that's all I can say on the matter, really. But please leave a comment underneath this video. If you have seen it and you are a parent, tell me what you think. I mean, you can't judge the parents at all on this one. You can't. Because some parents be working 20, how much hours in a day? There's key latch children, yes, they are. Or they get taken in by their peers. Peers have big influences on certain things. So I'm not going to go into statistics and all that stuff because you know, it's just sad, isn't it? So yeah, that's all I can say. So I'm gonna come off and please have a good morning. It's morning now, and keep safe. Say like, hug your child if you can. Say you tell them you love them because they have a lot to face out there. So with that said, I'm gonna come off. I'll see you later. Bye.